the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Let's start the summary pack for Social Studies, grade 11. In this file, we're going to talk about urbanization and the effects and causes of that. We're going to talk about American imperialism and the causes and effects of that. And then we have some example questions here for you to review and understand the lessons better. So, let's start with the first part, which is the definition of urbanization. So, what is urbanization? It's a process of making an area more urban. That's what we are doing these days too. Like we're growing small villages, small rural areas to big cities. But it actually started in past around 200 years ago in the United States. There was a big change that many people moved from rural areas to cities, to towns, and caused them to be bigger and bigger. So, question number 2 is asking about the main causes of urbanization. What are the main causes of urbanization? So, there are many things, but here we talk about the most important ones. Industrialization. As a result of industry improving in high speed, the demand for larger cities was needed. Rural-urban migration, which means people migrating from villages to cities. Change in the way of living. Actually, the people's lifestyle was changing as their, let's say, working type was changing. They were working mostly in the factories, in the companies, so they needed to live together in a city. And employment opportunities. Also, as a result of industrialization, most of these are as a result of industrialization. As cities grow larger, factories were built, companies were built, so new jobs were in high demand and factories needed workers, so people had to move to the factories. Move to the cities and cause the urbanization to be to improve at a higher rate. Question number 3 is asking you about the effects of urbanization. So what happened as a result of urbanization? When people moved to towns and they caused the cities to be bigger. So the rise of large factories greatly increased the demand for labor in the United States. So the demand for labor here means the need for human resources, the need for the people who were working, encouraging immigrants to move to America in large numbers. So one of the main effects was the effect that many people from other countries also moved to America actually to work there, to earn money there. Next one. The increase in industrial jobs encourages large numbers of Americans and immigrants to settle in cities. So it's clear, like many people felt the need themselves that they have to move to the cities to change their life, to work better, to earn more money. As cities grow large, pollution, crime, disease, and fire becomes serious problems. So these were the main problems at that time: pollution, crime, disease, fire. So remember them very well. New industrial technology allows cities to grow even larger with the development of skyscraper, the elevator, and the trolley car. So as we discussed in the class, the invention of the elevator and trolley car and the material of steel also caused the creation of skyscrapers and helped the high-story buildings to be built. So this technology actually helped the cities to grow, let's say, in the sky, not on the land. Cities were growing in terms of elevation, like the elevation of the or the height of the buildings was going up and up and high and high. Okay, as we discussed about the urbanization, let's see questions regarding that. The first question is asking you about uh, the process of making an area more urban. Deforestation, discrimination, urbanization, globalization. Pretty easy. Urbanization is the correct answer. Which choice is not one of the causes of urbanization? Industrialization, rural urban migration, employment opportunities, and globalization. So it's very clear that all the three options are one of the causes of urbanization, but globalization itself is not a cause of urbanization. Question number 3, which choice is not a negative effect of urbanization? Choice is not a negative effect of urbanization. Since we have pollution, inflation, poor health and spread of disease, urban crime. So if you remember, we had the crime, we had the diseases or spread of diseases and poor health. We also had the pollution. The only choice that is left is inflation. So inflation was not a negative effect of urbanization. Question number 4, very tall high-rise buildings are called skyscraper, tenements, towers, and cranes. Pretty easy. Skyscrapers are a room or set of rooms forming a separate residence within a house or block of flats are flat, apartment, dormitory, tenement. This one's also very easy. That's tenement, right? Number 6, a period of economic growth as the United States jumped to the head in industrialization ahead of Britain. Sorry, jumped to the lead in industrialization ahead of Britain. So is that golden age, gilded age, Great Depression, or Great Deflation? So that is actually gilded age. As we discussed, say gilded age was a period that America grew ahead of Britain in terms of economic growth and stuff like that. Question number 7, the belief that anyone could rise in society and go as far as their talents and commitments would take them what? Realism, individualism, social Darwinism, or perfectionism. If you can remember the lessons, the correct answer was actually individualism. Question number 8. Immigrant children became knowledgeable about American culture at public schools, a process known as Americanization, nativism, social Darwinism, or individualism. As you know, it was Americanization. Question number 9. The rapid increase in the money supply without an increase in the amount of goods for sale caused what? Or the decline of the value of money. So is it depression, expansion, deflation, or inflation? So think for a moment. Say decline or decrease in the value of money and increase in the money supply. It means like increase in the printed money, cash money, and decline in the value of money. What we saw in Turkey in the last 2 years. So that is called the inflation, right? It's very important. Working class individuals residing in cities usually lived in where? They usually lived from working class, usually lived in tenements. They had to live there, right? So, question number 11 is about American imperialism. Let me explain it for you first, and then we will talk about it. Let's go to question number 12 here. The technology is asking about what technologies made the building of skyscraper possible. It's definitely the elevator, the technology of elevator, the invention of steel, or the material called steel, S-T-E-E-L, steel, and trolley cars or specific cars to work in high places. As nowadays we use cranes, but at that time there were trolley cars. Question number 13. Define the meaning of the word philanthropy. Explain how it can be done in the society. So philanthropy, you can say the actions done in the society to help poor people, to help ordinary people without getting money from them, like building hospitals, building library, building I don't know, pharmacies, parks and stuff like that. For them, that's philanthropy. Or even helping some poor countries with their providing them like water resources, as some people do in Africa. They provide water resources for them. And so it's explain how can it be done in the society. You can say it can be done by raising funds. Some, let's say, rich people can help them personally, but there are some organizations, some non-governmental organizations, we call them NGOs, that they raise budgets or they run campaigns to help a certain group of people, like help Africa for providing clean water resources, I don't know, help homeless people to provide homes for them, help university students home. If there's an earthquake, for example, we had an earthquake in Turkey, so there was a kind of philanthropic help from other countries, or people also helped in Turkey, they paid money. So there were many campaigns ran by some Turkish operators like Vodafone or other companies. They helped each other to collect this money. So about segregation, imperialism, and the cause of American imperialism. Let's do this part, then we move to that part. So first of all, American imperialism, I want to tell you the meaning of imperialism. Imperialism is actually the tendency or the willing of a country to be so strong or powerful to control and dominate other countries or to colonize them. That is called imperialism. And American imperialism, which started at the beginning of 18th century, actually was very became very dominant later on. So what were the main causes of that? Okay, so the United States wanted new markets for its product, particularly its manufactured goods. So as we see here, the main reason was the business of American people. They wanted to sell their products to new countries, to new people. So they wanted to take over other countries, control them, colonize them, to be able to sell their products to them. Many Americans believed that it was the destiny of the United States to spread its power and civilization to other parts of the world. So it was their belief, as we discussed, like individualism, social Darwinism. In those kind of beliefs, they believed that they had this power. Actually, they made these beliefs in themselves. American leaders believed that having a powerful navy and controlling trade were key to being a world power. So it was their tendency to become a world power, so they believed that they could do it through this. So let's move on to those questions as we discussed. Here we have 3 questions regarding this part. Question number 15. What is imperialism? As I told you, a tendency of a country to become so strong, so powerful, to control other countries, to dominate them, or to colonize them. Okay, that's called imperialism. What were the causes of American imperialism? We discussed it earlier. They wanted new markets to sell their products. They believed that America was actually intended to be the world power, and they had to spread their power or civilization to other parts of the world. And other reason was that their leaders, American leaders, believed that they could have the great power through navy controlling trade, and that was their key actually. Okay, moving on to the last question, which is segregation. We ask you about what is segregation. Okay, segregation is actually um, treating or behaving differently with certain groups of people based on their skin color, based on their religion, nationality. That is called segregation. Segregation in USA mostly was based on the color of the skin at the 18th century, so people behaved really differently with the white people and black people. There in restaurants, they had separate entrance. In some public places like the bus, black people were not allowed to sit on the chairs, on the seats of the bus, and also in some places like even in the parks for drinkable water, there was different faucets, different places for white and colored people to drink water. These are the examples of segregations. You can write what I said on your exam. So that's it. I hope you do your best in the social studies exam, and I wish the best of luck for you. Good luck, everyone. See you.